He was the original king of Hollywood and a hero of the silver screen, playing cowboys, folklore heroes, adventurers, thieves, and even soldiers. With a career that's lasting over 30 years and being one of the biggest actors in the silent era, or the silent movie era, depending on what era he was playing in. This is the actor Douglas Fairbanks, and this is his basic biography. Early life. Douglas Fairbanks was born on the 23rd of May, 1883 in Denver, Colorado, USA. He was born to a father that was a businessman and his mother was from a socialite background. They all lived in Denver for a long time with his half-siblings who came from his mother's previous marriages. Later on in his life would change at a young age due to his parents slowly losing their money, with his father losing a lot of income due to wrong business decisions, even taking to the bottle at the same time. His parents would break up due to the hardship that was caused by his mother remarrying later with another man, and even other gentlemen later on, who would help her live a great lifestyle. After his parents broke up, he would still be remembering his father by the love of the theatre and even acting on stage himself. This would also fuel the passion of acting for the young Douglas Fairbanks at the same time, and sometimes will act in small productions during his education. He would attend Denver East High School, where he would be gaining his high school education with and even acting at the same time with various actors who performed in school plays or productions. He quit school and stayed in the acting scene by taking up the stage and even working on stage with various acting groups, as well as touring around the country of the USA with this same group. Later on, he would be able to work in New York and start a Broadway career and work in odd jobs to support himself, becoming a talented actor on stage. Acting career. Douglas Fairbanks would start working on Broadway during the early 1900s. He would work on stage with a chance of working on odd jobs due to making ends meet whilst being an actor. This is because he was only limited to amount of roles that were needed to be performed on Broadway, and would work in these productions from 1902 to 1908. His first performance was His Lord and Master, and ending with A Gentleman from Mississippi. It was a start for the young Douglas Fairbanks, but he would move to LA around 1915 to work on films. When moving to LA, he was able to act in various jobs and various roles at the same time. Yet he was lucky to start out in his first major movie appearance in the movie The Lamb in the same year, as this movie came out of the in the height of the silent film era, and was the first adventure slash western movie where he would be able to be typecasted as a cowboy or adventure hero on the big screen, at the same time with Tom Mix. In the same year, he managed to work in other Western films and even become a breakout star in the early stages of the silent movie era. From being a cowboy in his first movie in the 1910s, he continued to play this type of character on the screen, even being an adventurer, which most audiences would want to see on the silver screen, and one day will become the king of Hollywood due to his acting style or his perception of being an action hero in the silent film era. He continued to play a swashbuckling hero with another movie based on the Three Musketeers called A Modern Musketeer in 1917, and mostly would be working in the silver screen during the First World War. He would become part of and would speak to other people during the time of the war by selling bail bonds, with Charlie Chaplin helping endorse the war bonds at the same time. The first king of Hollywood. At the end of the 1910s, he would sign a contract with the United Artists and collaborate with Charlie Chaplin. This was Douglas Fairbanks, sorry, They both, Douglas Fairbanks and Charlie Chaplin, would become good friends and would work together in some films by United Artists, even working on on set and other studios to get by becoming number one acting and even action stars. In the 1920s, Douglas Fairbanks would play Zorro in the film The Mark of Zorro. This role made him a legitimate action star and become a swashbuckler on the silver screen throughout the decade. From this film on, he was able to play another a part of the part D'Artagnan in 1921's film adaptation of the Three Musketeers, and then playing Robin Hood in 1922. He would be classed as the king of Hollywood based on his movies and being the number one action star in the silent film era, with other actors such as Rudolph Valentino to Tom Mix. Being typecasted as Zorro based on his performance in the 1920s, being his high points in the movie career for the young Douglas Fairbanks, and even being a member of being a president of the Academy in Hollywood. The world was set to was at Douglas Fairbanks' feet during this time, and more roles came to the young actor, based on playing pirates in and thieves, and even Zorro again for a second time. He played Zorro again in the film Son of Zorro in 1925. He would end the 1920s with a Shakespeare play called The Taming of the Shrew in 1929. Personal life and final years. Douglas Fairbanks was married at least three times. His first wife was called Anna Beth Sully. Both had a son called Douglas Fairbanks Jr., who would also become an actor, as well as winning more accolades than his father. This relationship lasted from 1907 to 1919. His second wife was Mary Pickford, whose relationship with the two had the relationship lasted from 1920 to 1936, and his final wife was Sylvia Ashley, with their relationship lasting from 1936 to his death in 1939. His career declined during the Great Depression and in the 1930s. This was due to the silent era, or the silent movie era, dying out, and working and even talking pictures were taking over. He was able to take up talking picture roles, but was not successful as his fellow actors were able to make more money and more movies in that time period. His last silent movie was called The Iron Mask in 1929, and then starring in the talking pictures. It was not a perceived well, this was not perceived as a very good movie by the audiences, and this was making him decline more roles as an actor. Later on in his movie career, he was able to star in silent sound pictures. Sometimes he would work with fellow writers or work as a producer or a fellow writer during film adaptations and film productions. During this time, he was able to star in his last film called Ali Baba Goes to Town in 1937. He would retire after this movie and would not make another movie again in Hollywood. Death of a King. Douglas Fairbanks would pass away on the 12th of December 1939 at the age of 56. Cause of death was heart attack, and he had some health issues in his history of his career before his death. Yet his legacy was based on his acting careers, based on being a first action star on the Hollywood silent era screen. He would be remembered for playing such films as The Mark of Zorro, which would be remade again in the later years. Actors such as Kevin Kline played him in the film Chaplin in 1992, and even being remembered throughout cinemas and even the museums, with most of the movies being taken over by TCM, and then the world watching these movies again even 80 years after his death. His son would be able to become an actor due to his father becoming a great actor and even winning more accolades than his father from Hollywood around and even around the world. Modern actors would be able to see his films and even portray some of his acting style, still using these using the films that he was able to star in. Even starring in remakes of Robin Hood, Zorro, and even The Three Musketeers. Both Douglas Fairbanks and his fellow actor, Errol Flynn, made the swashbuckling hero a big screen success. Now, I hope you guys like this video. Sorry if it's a bit stuttery and a bit mind-boggling, but it's quite hard trying to perceive and trying to review this actor myself for a biography. But yeah, so thank you for watching, and please like if you haven't done so. Subscribe as well. I'll have more content coming up, and hopefully that will be much better than this video, and even I'm improving as well. Thank you for watching.